right. Hi, everyone. Welcome again to Author Story. I'm Alexander Lim, your host, and for this episode, I'm interviewing Siphiwe Baleka, author of the book 4 Minute Fit, the Metabolism Accelerator for the Time Crunched, Desk-Bound, and Stressed Out. And for those of you following along who are interested, you can go over now to the Amazon link in the description below the video and check out or get a copy of the book. So, Siphiwe, welcome to Author Story. Thanks for being our guest.
Thank you for having me, Alex.
Yeah, it's cool. So before anything else, Siphiwe, if you feel I need any correction on pronunciation, just let me know.
Okay, you got it.
All right, cool. So Siphiwe, first off, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your author story?
Well, let's see. I am the founder of Fitness Trucking, and author of this book, 4 Minute Fit.
Right.
The book is based off the research and the work that I've done over the last 5 years working with truck drivers, particularly at the company Prime Inc., which is a trucking company in Springfield, Missouri.
Right.
So I got into truck driving, and within the first 2 months of my driving career, I had gained 10.7% of my body weight.
Wow.
And I gained 15 pounds.
Wow.
I gained 15 pounds in 2 months, and I got scared. Realized if I didn't take responsibility for my health and fitness while I was on the road, I could end up 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds heavier by the end of the year.
Right.
And so that was the moment I realized I needed to do something. And so I tried everything, every kind of fitness program, every kind of fitness equipment, every kind of nutrition and diet plan.
Right.
And I realized there's a nutrition and fitness program for everyone in America, except one specifically designed for long-haul truck drivers and their unique environment.
Right.
So while I was driving the truck, I decided I was going to design such a system, and I spent 3 years on the road doing it, and that's what turned into the book. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And I understand that you were an athlete before you became a truck driver, so I suppose that weight gain was pretty surprising for you.
Well, yeah, I was a world-class swimmer back in college. That was back in the late 80s or early 90s.
Right.
So, and I had been an athlete ever since I was a little boy. So I'd always been fit. I'd always been healthy.
Right.
When I left the university and I spent the next 15 years sort of traveling around the world and doing all kinds of amazing things, but I wasn't doing anything athletic.
Okay.
No exercising, no training, no sports.
Okay.
So by the time I got into truck driving, I was just like your average Joe.
Oh, all right. Okay. But definitely, I guess that that background, that training, enabled you to realize, there's something wrong going on here. I mean, if I gain 15 pounds, that's serious stuff.
Yeah, like I said, it scared me. I realized I had to do something drastic to, make sure I didn't get any worse to begin with.
Yeah.
And I mean, I started studying what's called metabolic endocrinology, which is how our hormones regulate our metabolism. And I started using a lot of digital health equipment in the same way that I would use it for my athletic performance. I would use it to kind of measure my physiology while I was driving. And I realized, man, my problem was my metabolism. It was so low. And I had to figure out, how do I turn it on and keep it on while I'm driving so that I can be burning fat while I'm just sitting there?
Right. True. Okay, got that. Okay. Well, we'll cover that a little bit later. But first, I'd like to speak a little bit about the book. For the benefit for our listeners who are not aware what it's about, would you mind telling us a little bit about it and what it's all about?
So the book 4 Minute Fit, it's about a simple way to turn your metabolism on before you start driving or before you start your day. It's not just for drivers, it's for anyone.
Right.
How to turn your metabolism on before you start your day, and then how to keep it on. And then how to do this in the most effective, least time-consuming way.
Okay.
So it's a program, and I try to keep it simple. I thought the book might be just 10 pages, but it had to be more than that. So we put more information in there.
All right.
But it's 2 steps.
Uh-huh.
It's 2 steps. Turn your metabolism on and keep it on. That's how you're going to lose weight.
Okay, all right, cool, got that. And what made you decide to write it? I mean, as you mentioned, you're already changing the lives of people in Prime Incorporated, which is a company you work for. What made you decide to write the book?
Well, actually, the idea for the book wasn't mine. It actually came from John Wertheim, who is an editor at Sports Illustrated.
Okay.
He had written an article about what I was doing here at Prime and sort of my swimming career at Yale, and how I sort of disappeared for 15 years and then reemerged as this fitness coach for truck drivers.
Okay.
So the idea for the book was his, but he got the idea from understanding that my mission was, I felt like if I could take the unhealthiest occupation in America, which is truck driving.
Okay.
All right. It has the highest rate of obesity. It has the highest rate of metabolic syndrome, which is a cluster of 60 medical disorders and 12 cancers.
Wow. Okay.
It has the lowest life expectancy. Okay. If I could take this industry and turn it around and give it a case study or an example of a very effective corporate wellness program, then if truck drivers could do it, anybody could do it. And so, there's this war against obesity in our country. Okay. 1 out of 3 Americans is obese. It's costing America $150 billion or more per year, and it's affecting every sector of the economy.
Wow.
And I got to the point where I was thinking about this, and I was like, we can't make America, quote unquote, great again if we don't make America fit again. If obesity is this national security threat, threatening our economy, it even threatens our armed services. I've heard generals in the Army talk about the fact that right now only 3 out of 10 adult Americans that try to enlist in our armed services actually qualify. And the number one reason why they get disqualified is because of being obese. So
okay.
I really saw here's a way to, what America needs right now is a battle plan, a national movement, because when it comes to weight loss and the obesity problem, there's a number of different choices. We've got superfoods and fitness pills and diet plans and gym memberships. And I mean, there are so many different choices, but the one thing that we lack is one single national movement that anyone can do, regardless of their current fitness level and conditioning, that everyone could do as sort of their patriotic duty to win the war of obesity against America. And so all of the research I did on drivers, I found, hey, here's the minimum effective dosage. You got to move with maximum intensity for 4 minutes before you start your day, and everybody can do that. And so really the book is trying to inspire the country to do their part to win the war against obesity. That's really what it's about.
Cool. Okay, I got that. So definitely expanding your reach and getting the word out and getting people healthier, definitely.
Yes.
All right, cool. So, Siphiwe, let's talk a little bit about the situation with truck drivers, particularly long-haul truck drivers, because I'm sure there are quite a few of our listeners who are not truck drivers, so they don't know the exact conditions that truck drivers face that lead to obesity. What is it about their job that makes them prone to obesity, and as you mentioned, the cluster diseases?
Well, so the first part is truck drivers, they're living in a box. Okay. They don't have access to a kitchen.
Okay.
They have food storage issues. I mean, we're not carrying, these large refrigerators on our truck where we can store food for a week or for a month.
Right.
We're not getting to the local organic farmers market or the specialty store selling the grass-fed, hormone-free meat.
Right.
And then meanwhile, we're driving a tractor and a 53-foot trailer. So we're not getting off of the main interstates and highways. So getting to a gym is not really practical.
Right.
So we're not getting to the gym. So there's all these severe restrictions and challenges because of this unique environment. For all intents and purposes, we might as well be astronauts living in outer space. That's how difficult and unique the environment is.
Wow.
So that's the first issue. But the deeper issue that people don't realize is truck drivers, to make money, that means they have to drive when the freight dictates. That means sometimes they're required to drive during the day. Sometimes they're required to drive during the night. Sometimes they're not driving at all. Their schedule is always changing. And when that happens, it disrupts your body's, what we call your circadian rhythms. These are the cycles and sort of the programs in the body that keep you in harmony with your environment. So when the environment changes, your body changes. It secretes hormones so that you can stay in harmony with your environment. So, for example, when the sun sets and the light cycle, the light decreases and the temperature drops and the atmospheric pressure drops, all of those changes send signals to your pineal gland or through your skin that, hey, the environment is changing. You need to change with it. Let's secrete these hormones, for example, that make you feel relaxed so that you go to sleep.
Right.
So the real problem here is that truck driving is a profession that teaches you to ignore and override these signals. And you literally disrupt the natural functioning of your hormone production, and particularly the hormones that govern or regulate your metabolism. That's really the root of the problem. So the drivers, they don't know. They're not taught, unless they come to Prime and they go through my class. They're not taught how their physiology, how their body, how their metabolism is literally going to be disrupted.
Right.
And so one of two things is happening to America's truck drivers, 86% of them.
Right.
Either they're not getting the signal that they're hungry and they need to start eating.
Okay.
So they don't feel hungry, so they don't eat. They skip meals. And when you skip meals, you don't give your metabolism work to do, so your metabolism turns off.
Okay.
So, it was surprising to me to discover that the average, we think, oh yeah, truck drivers are overweight because, they eat too much. They eat crappy food all day long and they just sit.
Right.
Well, that's not actually true. All of the research and data that we collected on these drivers show that the average truck driver is only eating once or twice a day. They're not eating frequently enough. Now, they may overeat on those one or two particular meals.
Okay.
But their nutrition for the entire day, their nutrition for the week or for the month, they're actually under eating, and their body is going into starvation mode. And so it's holding and storing fat instead of burning it. So that's the root of the problem. You have to attack it on the metabolic level.
Right. Okay. I got that. So that definitely paints a picture for me of what it is about being a truck driver that can lead to obesity and all its complications. So yeah, okay, I got that. So let's get a little bit. Yeah. So let's get a little bit to the to your training. How do you start off with these guys? Do you start off with starting them off with exercising? Do you give them lectures on how the body works? How does it go?
Actually, I have to start at a very different place.
Okay.
Because losing weight is the easy part. What you need to do to lose weight and how to lose weight is well known. It's easy. There's a number of programs. You could literally throw a dart, pick a program, and if you actually stick to it and follow it, you're going to lose weight.
Okay.
The problem for most people is it's the behavior change component. And in order to change behavior, you have to get into you have to tap into their energy. And the way you do that is you have to get into their values and their emotions. A lot of our behavior is actually subconscious. Okay. So even if you consciously decide, hey, say you want to quit smoking, you could profess to your blue in the face you want to quit smoking.
Okay.
But your conscious behavior and profession, that's only 10% of your behavior. 90% of your behavior is subconscious programming. So if you don't know how to access your subconscious and reprogram that, you're going to struggle. because something's going to trigger the programming that leads you to keep smoking. So it's the same thing with exercise and nutrition. There are all these triggers. Man, when I feel like this, subconsciously I start reaching for this comfort food, and I do this, and I do it mindlessly. I literally it's a program. So the answer to your question, I have to tap into what's your motivation. Mm-hmm. You take that word motivation, the root word is motive, comes from the Latin movere, means to move, literally means energy.
Okay.
And when I ask people, the drivers that enroll in my program, they come to me because they're scared. Mm-hmm. They've just been to a doctor. They've been diagnosed with prediabetes or diabetes or high blood pressure or hypertension, or they're afraid they're going to not pass their physical and lose their commercial driver's license.
Right.
Or Alex, they're coming to me because they have these experiences, like the woman who went to the amusement park with her granddaughter, and they kicked her off the roller coaster because they couldn't get the lap belt across.
Okay.
Or I had a couple came to me recently, and they were like, hey, we went on this cruise and we couldn't do any of the activities. There was a weight restriction on horseback riding. There was a weight restriction on zip lining. Mm. And we realized we were missing out on life because we were unfit. We weighed too much.
Right.
So in order to get someone to apply the steps that are in 4-Minute Fit, right, and to apply them consistently, I got to tap into what's your motivation, what's important to you, why are you even reading this book or coming to my office and looking for help. And when I get them talking about how I want to be around for my kids or my grandkids or my family and my wife, or, I have dreams, things I want to do, but I can't do them, it gets very, very emotional. Mm-hmm. But emotion is energy.
Okay.
That's where you're going to find the energy to do the thing that you don't feel like doing. Right. So that's where we start. We talk about this in the book. Once I tap into that and I figure out what's your why, then we can start talking about, okay, first thing we do is figure out, where are you? I'm not going to give you nutrition information or a nutrition plan or start telling you need to start making changes to your nutrition if we haven't analyzed what your nutrition is, because how do we know what to change?
Right.
So the book describes, here's how you get started. Here's how you log your food for 7 days. Use an app. I like Chronometer because it keeps track of everything, all your nutrients, not just your macronutrients. Right. Very useful tool. It's an app on your phone. But here's how you log your nutrition, log everything you eat and drink for 7 days. And here's how you can identify what's the one thing you eat frequently that does the most damage. And then here's how you fix that. And then once you fix that in week number 2, then in week number 3, we do the same process. Let's identify what's the next thing that you eat doing the most damage, and let's fix that. So instead of overhauling your entire diet, right, we just make specific strategic changes that have maximum effect. And it's a much smarter approach.
Okay. And just a question. So the people who undergo this process, I mean, I agree, keeping it off is a big concern. And there's always a possibility of, I know what you call it, relapse or sliding back into old habits. How effective is this with regards to, people actually managing to get the change that they want?
So I've been doing this program at Prime for almost 5 years now. Okay. And I don't have hard data on the overall, recidivism or relapse.
Right.
But we have plenty of drivers that continue the behaviors after the 13 weeks.
Okay.
Continue to lose weight. We have drivers that have, lost and kept off 100 pounds or more.
Wow.
For 2 years now.
Wow.
We have drivers that had been diagnosed with sleep apnea, mm-hmm, and had been on CPAP machines for as much as 5 years. Whoa. Come off of CPAP. Okay. We have drivers who used to get a 1-year medical Department of Transportation sort of medical certificate, 1 year or less, who now they get the maximum 2 years. So they're certified for 2 years and they don't have to, retest or go back to a doctor for 2 years. So we have plenty of case studies that show that this is more long-term behavior change, because this is not a diet. This is not something that you go on,
Right.
that you come off of. It's making small changes that are so non-disruptive to your routine or lifestyle that you can sustain them. We're not saying you can never eat this, you can't eat that, you have to only eat this and be real strict. Actually, there's a lot of food freedom in my program.
Okay.
So it is more about the long-term behavior change. And on the exercise side, you don't have to buy a gym membership.
Okay.
You don't have to work out every day for 30 minutes or 60 minutes.
Right.
So when it's only 4 minutes, when you can do it in the space between brushing your teeth and taking your shower, that's something you can do for a lifetime.
All right, cool. I got that. So it's very interesting, and given that it does work for truck drivers, I mean, I'm sure a lot of folks will be able to pick up a lot of stuff from this.
Well, that's why the subtitle of the book is, the Metabolism Accelerator for the time crunched, desk bound, and stressed out. Because now, I mean, everybody's time crunched. Everybody is working and or going to school and or raising a family and or, doing all these other things that are available to us in 21st century America. Right. So everybody seems time crunched. And it's not like you're going to, all of a sudden one day you're walking down the street and you're like, oh man, I found an extra 20 minutes. Now I have 24 hours and 20 minutes.
Right.
You're never going to find extra time. So, 4 minutes, you can fit that in. You do have time for that. Desk bound, a lot of people sit at their desk all day long in front of a computer. So, and then stressed out, I mean, that's another big major health issue in America, is being stressed. So again, truck drivers are a unique population because of their time demands. The fact that not only are they sedentary, somebody that sits at their desk, they can stand up whenever they want. A driver can't even stand up when they want to.
Yeah, I mean, he's sitting there.
So again, yeah. So again, we realized if this will work for truck drivers, this will work for anyone. It'll work for a secretary. It'll work for a nurse. It'll work for a CEO. It'll work for the stay-at-home dad or the stay-at-home mom. It'll work for the airline stewardess. It'll work for the taxi driver. It'll work for the factory worker. You name it, because it's the least disruptive but minimum effective dosage. That's what it is.
All right, fantastic. And I'm a little surprised that no one else thought of this before. So yeah, congratulations.
Well, I'm not the first person. I mean, the high intensity, the HIIT interval training, even 4 minutes. I'm not the only one that knows this, but that research has been around for 30 years.
Okay.
But what is new is combining it with this idea of turn your metabolism on before you start your day.
Okay.
And then keep it on by practicing what's called nutrient timing, or giving your body what it needs, and specifically giving your metabolism what it needs when it needs it, which is basically every 3 hours you need to give it some protein to keep the metabolism working. Just combining that in the right sequence and order and making it simple so that it's one command that anyone can follow. That's the benefit of this. The science has been around for 30 years. It just hasn't been packaged in a way that it's a turnkey solution for everyone.
All right. Interesting. So, Siphiwe, let's say you met a person, got a sedentary lifestyle, might have some complications due to it, like obesity, possible diabetes, and stuff like that. And this person was interested in improving his or her health in general, and you only had enough time to tell this person one thing about how to achieve that, how to achieve better health. What would be that one thing you would tell that person, and why?
Wow, that's a great and loaded question. And And my answer would be, there is a direct relationship between what you get out of life, or what I call the abundant life, and your health. And the bottom line is, the healthier you are, or the fitter you are. And by fit, what I mean by fit is being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. Okay? The fitter you are, the more capacity or power you have to do what you want to do when you want to do it, the more you will actually do, meaning the more you will actually experience. And the more you experience in life, the more you learn, the more you grow, the more you receive from the universe. So who wants to settle for just 66% of all of the experiences or happiness or abundance that you could have in life? So the real reason for prioritizing your health and figuring out, how do I strive for optimal health? How do I be the fittest that I can be today, this week, this year, right? The reason why you want to prioritize that is because the more you do that, the more energy you have, the more energy you put out in the universe, the more you're going to get back from it. It's real. I know it's a philosophical kind of answer, but it's so important, because every motivational speaker or success guru or entrepreneur will tell you, they will always ask, what's your why? What's your big why? Because it has to have your why, your motivation has to be so big, and it has to have so much energy in it that it will give you the energy to do the thing that you don't want to do when you don't feel like doing it, when it's not convenient for you or easy for you. And so again, the more fit you are, the more you prioritize this and make it part of your lifestyle, the more you're going to get back from life. You don't feel like doing anything. You don't get off the couch. You see less of the world. You meet less people in the world. You have less opportunities come your way. But the more you get off the couch, the more you're active, the more you go out and travel and do things, and just the more you're going to get out of life. And to me, that's the most important thing.
All right.
It's not how you look. It's none of those vain things. It's do you have enough energy to be present for your family, to play with your kids and your grandkids? Can you still take them to the beach and run around and go swimming and play with them on the playground at 40, at 50, at 60, at 70? And the answer now is, yeah, you can have that kind of energy even in your later years and still be getting all you can get out of life.
Wow, fantastic. Definitely deep words right there. Cool.
I know that was kind of long-winded, Alex, but I get inspired by, I've had mentors and people, and particularly my father, that impressed upon me very early in life the value of doing your best and being your best.
Yeah.
And so I like to help people, help them become the best they can be.
Right. Okay, fantastic. Cool. Hard to argue with that. Okay, so Siphiwe, it's about time to close the interview. Wish we could talk longer, but in addition to what you said, are there any other words of wisdom you'd like to share to inspire listeners on, anything at all?
Well, I would like to let the listeners know that this 4-Minute Fit, the book, it's also a movement.
Okay.
Right, for all of America. And we developed some really great tools and free content with my partners, Progressive Commercial Insurance. They helped me put together this great content where you can see exercise videos to get you started, whether you are just getting started and you haven't exercised, in a year or 10 years, all the way through developing to more advanced stuff. You can see these exercise videos, and you can find out more about me by going to the website. It's truckerterritory.com. You can buy the book there. You can start seeing these videos. You can contact me, and it's just really great. Here's how you can get started, how anyone can get started. And Progressive Insurance is really, really interested in helping me help people, and particularly truck drivers. And we wanted to make it easily accessible for people. So I'd say go to truckerterritory.com and get started.
All right, cool. So, and for our listeners listening who might be interested, even if you're not a truck driver, go check it out.
Absolutely.
Cool. Okay, so in closing, the book then is 4-Minute Fit, the Metabolism Accelerator for the Time Crunched, Desk-Bound, and Stressed Out. The author is our guest, Siphiwe Baleka. And you can also find this book in addition to, Siphiwe, it's truck driver, what was it again, the website?
It's truckerterritory.com.
Okay, in addition to truckerterritory.com, you can also find his book on his website, Siphiwe Baleka. That's SIPHIWEBALEKA.com. And also at 4minutefitbook.com. That's the number 4 followed by minutefitbook.com. So, Siphiwe, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for being an author story. It is very insightful, having you with us today.
Thank you so much, Alex. I really appreciate you giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So if any of you listeners want to know more about this potentially life-saving topic, please feel free to go ahead and check out 4-Minute Fit, which you can do so right now by going to the Amazon link in the description below the video. And if you'd like to follow our author interviews on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. So bye for now, everyone. I'll be back next time on Author Story with another inspiring author.